Welcome to this Arnall-Culliford knitwear tutorial on working a short row heel. This is part 3 of the series, so please do ensure that you've watched parts 1 and 2. You'll find the links in the notes associated with the video. I'm using the pattern from MDK Field Guide No. 11, Wanderlust, and it's a sock designed by Wendy Bernard. So I have now worked the majority of my short row heel. Isn't that looking lovely? And I've completed the final pair of short rows where I've worked the end stitch of my heel. So I've got 2 wraps on this end, and the last stitch on this end also has 2 wraps. It's the second one there. So I'm going to show you how to go back to working in the round. So once each stitch at the ends of your heel has double wraps, you're then going to work a final pair of short rows, and this final pair is just going to help ensure that you don't get a massive hole at each end of your heel, because it's just going to join the heel where you've been working backwards and forwards in with the instep stitches a little. So we're knitting along all the way. Okay, coming to the end of the heel stitches. Okay, there's our last heel stitch, and it's double wrapped, so we're going to knit it. And we're now going to pop our wrap and turn on the first instep stitch, just to join everything in nice and snug. So you do it in the same way. You bring the yarn to the opposite side of the work, you slip the stitch, you take the yarn back where it started, and you return the slipped stitch. Now obviously there might be a little bit of a gap there, but that's really going to help join everything in nicely. And then you turn the work, and you're going to purl back along as we've been doing all the way through. Make sure we don't lose that one off there. Okay, make sure that you give it a little snug up tug. And then we're going to purl all the way to the other end of the heel. And we're going to repeat the process there. So we'll be working the double wrap stitch and then wrapping the first instep stitch at the other end as well. Here we go. So here's our double wrapped stitch. We're just going to purl that, leaving all the wraps at the bottom. Take the yarn to the opposite side, slip that next stitch, bring the yarn back, return that instep stitch. There we go, so that's all wrapped in. And now we're going to turn the work. And we're now ready, because we've worked that final double wrap stitch and we've wrapped into the instep stitches at each side. We're now ready to continue working in the round. So I normally would have 2 needles in this heel section of stitches, so I'm going to reintroduce my extra needle once we get to the middle. Right, I've just done a couple of stitches, given it a tug to make sure that it was all nice and snug with those instep stitches. Okay, I'm going to reintroduce my next needle just to makes working in the round a little bit more comfortable for me. Obviously if you're on magic loop, then you'd just be continuing with your 2 needle tips. Sorry, flattering a bit. Let's just stop that. Okay, so we're knitting along. That's the end of our heel stitches. And now we're going to be knitting in the round along our foot of our sock, or it might be the leg of the sock if you've worked toe up. One of the lovely things about the short row heel is that it works in exactly the same way, whether you're working from the cuff down or the toe up. So at the start of that needle I worked that first stitch had the wrap on it, that's the first instep stitch, and just knitted straight over it. And now this is the other side of the instep, so at the end here we've got our wrapped stitch. You can just about see the wrap in there, and we're just going to knit straight across it now. We're back to working in the round as normal. Okay, here's that last stitch. You can see the wrap at the bottom there. Just going to knit it as normal, and there we are. We're now joined back into the round. We have got a little bit of a gap there, but nothing that a little bit of weaving in won't cure. Bit of blocking, it will all zhuzh out nicely, and we can just continue to work in the round now because we've worked our short row heel. If I come to the end of this needle, I can show you how it looks. There we go. So there's our cuff, and here's our heel section. If we open it up like this, you'll see how it's going to be. And you can see the wraps down the side of the heel there. They're not particularly conspicuous, they're just part of the heel construction. Here's how they look on the other side. And all you're going to do now is continue to work in the rounds to create the foot, and you've turned your corner of your heel. I do hope you found that video on how to work a short row heel helpful. This was part 3 of a 3-part series, so do be sure to check out the other videos in that series. If you'd like to find out more about Arnall-Culliford knitwear pattern books that teach you new techniques, please do click the link in the top corner here, and you'll find a button down in the right hand bottom corner here, a circle, that allows you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.